My name is Dylan Gott. That's John Hastings. You know what? This is a wrestler review. I'd just like to say one fucking thing. I'm using Microsoft Edge right now.
Guys. Every other fucking wrestling podcast, you know what they are? They are now betas. We are the alpha. We are broadcasting from the Edge.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Microsoft
Vince Russo's
Edge.
favorite fucking browser. You know what the homepage on every Microsoft Edge is?
A photo of tits, because you're on the Edge.
Yeah, 4Tube. Not RedTube or Pornhub. 4Tube.
Whoa, what's on 4Tube? Just photos of mass shootings perpetrated by 4chan users?
Yeah, it's pretty much regular porn, and at the end is just a school shooting instead of the money shot.
Yeah, but and then at the end of that it says that could have been you, and you're like having sex or doing the school shooting, either one.
No,
4Tube.
never sex. Never sex.
No, some of the ones I watch, they're like you could be having sex or you could be killing. It's a little bit more positive.
That's my favorite thing is.
What a great cough that was. Nowhere near covering your mouth, but so many things that you attempted to do. There we go.
I covered my mouth because I want to be away from the microphone. John.
Dylan.
I love piss.
I love Abyss.
Ooh.
So let's both take a sip from a cup that we like, even though it's a bit too warm. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're discussing Chris Parks, a.k.a. a producer for WWE, a.k.a. a guy who I taught improv to when I was 17, who later smoked weed with him, said, he's ugly, bro.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's ugly. That's why it's like a Vince McMahon thing to make him wear the mask.
I mean, he's not ugly enough that you need, like, he's not like, whoa. Like, there are more hideous people unmasked in TNA than Abyss ever was.
No, he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, that's just compared to you. You're very handsome. You're an Adonis.
That's true. Look at this shirt.
Oh my God, it's such a fun shirt. What's the nature of the inscriptions on that shirt, Dylan?
Well, it's fucking Rockaware and dragons, so it's pretty much everything you'd want.
Whoa, that's something that really says to everyone, I don't have cocaine, but I will do your cocaine.
Says, I'm a pervert, I'm a pervert, I'm a pervert.
Now, when we've last discussed Abyss, we did the entire career, which was stupid. We're now focusing in on the most important part of Abyss's career, and that is his unnecessarily and overlong feud with Raven. We even get to see an Abyss victory, but it's tainted because there are women there. Ugh. I have to say this. Abyss.
No, he wins the Hangman horror match as well.
Does he win the Hangman horror? No, I couldn't find the Hangman horror match. I didn't end up watching the Hangman horror match. I watched the other two.
All right, you tell me about the women's match. I'll tell you about the Hangman horror match because the Hangman horror match is on TV and just like anyway, we'll talk about it in a second.
Where did you? First of all, we get to that. Where did you find the Hangman's horror match? I looked everywhere.
Just on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Oh, I went overzealous and was searching
it's even
on
better.
Dailymotion.
It's someone recording the match off of their own TV.
Oh, I only could find
so you
part
get the old
2.
Spike TV stuff.
Yeah, I only found part 2. I was really enjoying the 2006 ads.
Oh yeah, the Scream Awards.
Oh yeah, man, I really miss when Spike TV was trying to really brand itself as the Man Network. Hey,
oh yeah,
are you a man? Do you want to watch our network that has Vin Diesel movies, second-rate wrestling, and UFC fighters talking? Welcome to Spike.
Yeah, it really was. Well, I mean, it was made by wrestling, right? Like, what do guys like? Fucking titties, fucking tussling.
But it's the weirdest thing if it's like, what do guys like? And it's like, well, they like wrestling. So let's get a version of that when this is on, everyone's going to say is bad. But when they revisit it, they're going to be like, wow, this was way better than I remembered. Like watching these Abyss matches, I was like, man, this is much more logical and fun than I remember.
Well, this is the other thing is, here's what I want to say about Spike TV is
Speak on this.
It was the Nashville network. It was actually kind of more manly because the TV shows on the Nashville network would be like, here's a guy hog tying a pig. Here is a bullfight. Here is some guys doing a shooting range.
Your grandparents
That's
did not plop you in front of the television and have you watch just TV throughout your early childhood, and for some reason you're a real weirdo. So the network you watched a lot was the Nashville Network, and who is that kid? That kid was me. I watched a lot of the Nashville Network. It was very little like cowboy, and it was very much country music. In that there were like so many different shows, one of which this is so nuts, was just these are 3 people gonna sing. They didn't win anything. They just went on national TV and they sung, and then 3 country stars were like, that's not good. That's not good. Goodbye. That's it. And it was riveting television.
The woke mob silenced you.
How dare they silence me for talking about Brooks and Dunn? Oh, sure. By the way, no 2 country singers more have looks in their eyes that go, we didn't vote for Trump, and that's not because we disagree with him, but that's because the government's not getting our names. They only know us by 2 names, Brooks or Dunn, and they don't know which one is which.
It's so crazy that Garth Brooks and Stephen Dunn made that group.
It's so fucking crazy that Garth Brooks is a man. Like, it's crazy that Garth Brooks is, like, who he is as a man and not conservative. Like, Garth Brooks, 90s celebrities are the best celebrities because, to quote Michael Jordan, conservatives buy sneakers too. Like, they're just nakedly commercial, and it's just like, I want everyone in America to buy my albums, so I'm going to be the most neutral man ever, which is why Garth's new song is called, hey, maybe just don't talk to your family, but talk to me with your money.
There's never been a more, like, obviously Garth Brooks, the songs, YOLO, but there's never been a man who I'd say looks more normal than Garth Brooks.
Yeah, no, but Garth Brooks is doing that thing where it's like he's really trying. Like, I'm the most normal guy in the world. I got a beard and it's drawn on professionally. Wait, what was that last part? Oh, I'm a regular guy. I eat sandwiches with gold leaf in between each sandwich item. And you're like, wait, what was that last part of that sentence? I'm a regular guy. I hunt men. What?
Well, I do feel like Garth Brooks is like, tried the Chris Gaines thing, and then that was like kind of what he really wanted to do.
Excuse me. What are you talking about? Tried. Chris Gaines is
successed the Chris Gaines thing?
Chris Gaines is coming back. He's trying it again. Double album. Double album.
You want to know why? Because that's what he wants to do. And then when people didn't like it, he's like, "All right, I'm done." I feel like that's what happened. He was like, "All right,
you're there's about 10 years you're missing, but you're not wrong. What it was the Chris Gaines album, and this is what's driven him crazy, and this is why Garth Brooks is the best. The Chris Gaines album was popular, but it's remembered as not being popular, and that's really pissed off Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks will not be remembered as having something not be popular when it was popular to him. And so he's doing it again, and nothing says I'm in Gen X more than that right there. Oh yeah, something I did that actually made me a lot of money is remembered as something that's fun for other people. That gets ruined now. I ruined that.
I mean, to be honest, Garth Brooks could have been like, hey, I tried to blend, I put a blender on and threw all my spoons in there. It's an album. People would have made that successful. Like,
yeah, that's correct.
That's the market share he had at that time.
He's unaware of that. Like, in Garth Brooks' mind, Garth Brooks thinks he's Abyss when really he's Vince McMahon. Like, he's like, I toil. It's really hard. And it's like, it's not hard for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, though. You struggle and you succeed, and then you never adjust to the fact that you're a success now. Do you know what I mean?
Some do.
I listened to an interview with LeBron James. It was the most honest interview I've ever heard. He's like, basically, I was 13, and I realized that I'm better at sports than anyone in the world. And, what I do now, the reason I'm still successful is because I still try, and a lot of people just show up and play the game and go home.
I'll tell you this.
I don't.
You're wrong. LeBron James is doing the most insane thing as of this recording, which is he's gotten into a war of words with Stephen A. Smith, and that proves right there that LeBron James is a deeply stupid man. LeBron James is... Oh, yes, your wife just heckled our podcast. Wife heckle. The most embarrassing of all things to happen during a podcast. A woman walks in. Stephen A. Smith is currently in a war of words with LeBron James. And what is LeBron James doing? Like, LeBron James has confronted him at a game, and it's like all Stephen A. Smith has is to attack on the radio and the television, and you're giving him ample opportunity to do that? You're crazy.
Well, both Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless do it. So it's like, I think, if anything, it's kind of like,
LeBron
listen,
keeps
I'm
responding.
going to support a black artist. And
he keeps responding.
Support Stephen A. Smith by responding. Yeah.
I think you're... Yeah, but it's now gotten worse, because then you went on Pat McAfee and it was like, Stephen A. Smith's a bird, and now Stephen A. Smith's talking about how he's a boxer, he's going to fight it. And it's like, yeah, LeBron, you're going to lose this.
Yeah.
He
had to say something. If someone
didn't.
was chirping you for 22 entire years, John, wouldn't you one day be like, fuck this guy?
No. What you do the fucking alpha thing of Stephen A. Smith said something about you. Who's that? Who's that? I don't know who that
I
is.
don't even know.
Because Stephen A. Smith would lose. You have to play the game to hurt Stephen A. Smith. If you want to hurt Stephen A. Smith, you'd be like, I heard Skip Bayless said that.
You can't hurt Stephen A. Smith. He's
Yes,
out
you
here
can.
giving fucking opinions on Pokemon now. He's outside, and it's his Pokemon opinions are more entertaining than his sports opinions.
Yeah, it
he
is
breaks down Squirtle
It's
as if
fascinating.
Squirtle's past it.
It's basically
Which does let you in on the fact that Stephen A. Smith is like must love pro wrestling, because he cuts a promo on Squirtle. I hate it when wrestling podcasts. Sorry, he talks about Squirtle the same way he talks about LeBron James. He's like disgusted in Squirtle. So it's like the same thing as like he's basically letting you know like I do not believe these things I'm saying.
What do you know? He's a broadcaster. He's the end run of a broadcaster, and broadcasters.
Whereas Skip Bayless is writing an entire book about how Troy Aikman's gay, and Troy Aikman just had to come up and be like, I'm not fucking gay. And
Skip Bayless.
That makes me happy.
Skip
When
Bayless.
some guy's like, just first of all, never even seen a dick. I make everyone in the fucking locker room cover their dick, and then one time I saw one, and I said, oops, there's nothing between your legs, because I don't even see dicks.
Skip Bayless is the best because he did the loseriest thing in the world. I'll give you $1 million to sleep with me one time, and then was like, and it's still like, he defending it. Yeah, I got $1 million. And I like seeing ladies nude. I'm straight. What's wrong with you?
For your information, I saw Michael Irvin fully cheat on his wife yesterday in the house we have to just do cocaine. Why did you tell them that? Because I'm not gay. I'm not fucking gay. I'm not gay.
You know,
I love how easy.
Whenever
it was to
I
get under the
piss,
skin.
I piss at a urinal and there's another man there, I look at them and go, I think of this urinal as a giant vagina. That's how fucking straight I am.
Here's the thing about
you piss at vaginas.
And people call things gay again.
Yeah, they certainly do. Especially when I'm driving. Wait, what?
People call things gay again, and I think the reason in the 90s why I think people thought it was funny to call things gay is because when you would call someone gay, they would get defensive and say, I'm not gay. And then now, in the 2020s, and I just put this together, I think it's come back, calling people gay came back because teenagers would do it, and then people our age would be like, that's not okay, that's against gay people. So you're still getting a rise out of people.
That's correct. It was just millennials didn't realize that just because we were wearing an orange hoodie didn't mean that we became the cops, and then we were so shocked we became the cops, even though we were the worst cops. And what I've also really enjoyed now, and like the post all of it, is either the people that were way into that have gone either super hard right wing, or they've gone the other way where now they're just like so deep into conspiracy theories they don't even realize it. I'll tell you who's actually bombing Gaza. Okay, time to go.
I'll tell you who's bombing Gaza. You're gay.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's the best. You're allowed to say that.
This is, by the way, this is the fucking shirt of a guy who would call you gay and really believe he's owned the libs.
Oh, certainly.
Anyway, let's talk about Abyss as we travel further into the Abyss towards our death.
Which match?
This
would
isn't
you
about
like to
Abyss.
discuss
Sorry,
first?
this is about Abyss versus fucking Raven.
Yeah, it's Abyss versus Raven. It's Tommy Dreamer. It's the Tommy Dreamer Raven feud. If it was thought up by a man with brain injuries named Vince Russo, this feud takes so many fucking twists and turns, and it's the simplest feud. It's basically like, hey, here's our two dark goth characters. One's annoyed that the Hot Topic's closed, and the other one has been called special needs, even though he's just a little bit hard of hearing. And that's the gimmicks of Raven and Abyss, basically.
Yeah, put him in institution. Why? He likes fucking soy milk with his coffee. He's a fucking monster. Soy milk, no sugar?
Yeah, it's fucked, man. Put him in a fucking padded room. What's crazy is
we said this before
Go
a
ahead.
million years ago, but Abyss is difficult to take because it's like, what an amazing wrestler, but he really is Kane the Mankind. Like, that's how they did it. He's fantastic at it.
He is fantastic at it, but it also makes no sense when they make him a babyface. Like, as a heel with James Mitchell for the dog collar match, so fun, and it's perfect, and that's how they should have maintained him, which is like, he's a monster. He's kind of impervious to pain. What else will he do? This is fucking crazy. And it falls apart almost immediately after that. Like, it's like their wrestling styles really complement each other. The matches are so fun. The dog collar match is so fun, up to and including when the dog collar just fully falls off Abyss, which is just, welcome to TNA. Go fuck yourself. Like,
the dog collar match is interesting because the Hangman's Horror match is also just another type of dog collar match. And the other thing about the dog collar match is, usually in dog collar match, they amend it in the 2000s to be like, you can pin the guy too, because the secret sauce about what's the really famous dog collar match? It was Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper versus Greg the Hammer Valentine, where Roddy Piper was literally deafened because they were just like, oh, we're just going to use a chain. Greg, hit him in the side of the head with the chain. Roddy, bump for that. Wait, what? Like, it's...
How do you bump for that?
How do you bump for a chain? I'll show you how.
I mean, we've all seen the promo where Roddy Piper takes a real glass bottle, hits himself on the head of it.
I completely agree with you.
Knocks himself out. He's not working from a place where he's like doing great.
Okay, may I just say this about that battle spot? My favorite part is the moment right before the blood flows, and he just looks at exactly where he just looks at the camera, and you could just see his thought being like, stop listening to Don Owen bleed. Like, it's just like, yeah, like, oh my god.
No, that just seems like, because people, here's the thing about wrestling. I think every art is like this, but people highlight the people who are good at the thing and then shit on the people who weren't good at the thing. So everyone shits on Goldberg. Like, can you believe this fucking idiot wanted real glass in the car? It's like, Piper did that years earlier with the glass bottle, and it was way more theatrically dumb. Like, Goldberg punches his arm through the thing and looks at it like, oh, fuck, I fucked my arm up.
Well, no,
Piper, you literally see the blood start and his face realize, oh, no.
But there's a part to the Goldberg thing that's so much funnier and so much stupider. He was supposed to have a thing that let him punch through the window of the car, and he forgot it. And so he just went, fuck it, I'll just punch through the window of the car. And it was only then where he was like, oh, yeah, it's a window of a car. It's in the same way that I know that there's another side to the Jungle Jack Perry CM Punk It's Real Glass thing, up to and including that spot where he turned to the camera and went, it's real glass. I bet you it turns out it was fake glass, and it was all just a big emo scuffle. But let's talk about this first match. It's a dog collar match. It's really, really fun. I'm watching the entire match thinking, why did people think TNA was bad in 2008, and then I looked at it was 2005, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the literally countdown to the end of TNA being awesome, because Raven's about to lose the belt back to Jarrett at Border City Wrestling and launch the beginning of them being on Spike TV.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's what I really liked. When they first came on Spike TV, all the promos were based around how sick AJ Styles was, and the other thing about Abyss that they never did, that is just a victim of like who you can get, is really like they have to have this fucking awesome dude who's 6'5", 350, could have went down as one of the better power wrestlers of all time, but he has to go toe-to-toe with like a dude who jobbed out pretty cleanly to Perry Saturn on Sunday Night Heat.
That's the thing that's very fucked about about TNA at this point, is they're using a lot of guys that, it's an interesting one because they're using a lot of guys that exactly are jobbed out to Perry Saturn, but the fans love them. Like Raven, yeah, he jobbed out to Perry Saturn.
Raven had a lot of goodwill, and it's interesting. Sorry, go for it. Pardon me.
So, but the problem that they have is because of a few of the, like, Raven had really goodwill. Christian had amazingly goodwill. Jeff Hardy, this was before people were like, oh, this drug problem's an issue. People were like, this guy on drugs is
Jeff Hardy's not as low down. Sorry to cut you off. Jeff Hardy and Christian are not as low down on the card as
Hang on, but I'm driving to a point. I'm driving to a point, you son of a bitch. Hang on 1 second. All of them convinced TNA that their fans would accept any other WWE wrestler in the same way. It's the same thing as the AEW, because as soon as he was able to literally sell out 6 months of buildings off of CM Punk coming back, he has debuted every WWE wrestler like they're going to do that, and it's like, hey man, no one likes Edge that much. No one's ever been that excited to see Edge. Edge may have left for a bunch of years, but he came back, and that was Edge at the WWE like 5 years ago. Yeah, like, yeah,
just like free bread. You're like, oh, good.
Well, that's great. What else? Yeah, well, great that that's here. Like,
hey, can I add some stuff to this to make it good?
No. You can change its name.
Although I think Edge is good, and it's like, you know what? I feel...
Agree, Edge is good.
I don't know. Edge is good. I don't want to be negative Nancy this time around.
I do.
The banned version of Wrestler Review, I'm not going to be a negative Nancy. I'm going to be a horny hair. Edge just got a fucking deep cock. He'd fucking bury that.
He doesn't. He doesn't. It
thin ass.
It looks like you can see a little nose poking out of his trunks. It makes me very worried about his wife. I think he has a micro.
Yeah, we should probably have a Patreon show, just hog analysis, where we just zoom in on tights.
First of all, this should be the Patreon show for hog analysis.
Famous matches and moments of wrestlers' careers, and we zoom in and see how big their dick was when it happened.
Randy Orton is the one who's going to achieve always, because quote unquote, why do you have to wear black trunks? I got a thick cock.
My favorite was he had colored trunks, and they kept on making them smaller when he was a babyface during that run after Evolution, and it was like Vince was like, "Here's what everybody wants. Everybody wants to get all 8 inside their ass, Randy." And Randy was like, "Yeah, they do."
Yeah, Randy Orton was able to become the world champion because he's the only guy who agreed with Vince McMahon's ideas. Randy, let's find a Bible and then hit a bird with our Bible. I already did it, man, and I found it. I found it, man.
Way ahead of you, bro. We're at the bird sanctuary. I got the biggest fucking Bible you ever seen.
Hey, Vince. I guarantee the reason why Randy Orton was out on that injury for like 2 years while Vince McMahon was going through his legal troubles is the company was like, look, we know Vince did this, but there's only one man who would have masterminded. What's up, Vince? It's Randy. I just want to let you know, I shit on women now during threesomes. Okay, bye.
I think Randy Orton probably was laughing at the Vince. He has to... Hey, Vince, when you're with these women, do you use protection? He's like, oh, don't worry. They signed an NDA. And then he was out laughing for 2 years at that joke.
Oh, my God. Yeah. No, he's still...
They signed an NDA. Get it? I unprotected sex with them, but they can't ever sue me over it because legally... This is the interesting thing about NDAs, where they're changing the way it works. Like,
well, they just don't work now in the States. Like, they're all voided.
Because they shouldn't. Because you shouldn't be like, fucking, all right, you signed it? You know what I mean? Like, axe to the head.
I will still...
You know what I mean?
Just remember,
because you signed a piece of paper doesn't mean someone gets to fucking hit you with a car.
I remember one of the biggest fights I ever got to with my dad, which was I told him I was on America's Got Talent, and he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to tell people. And I was like, please do not tell anyone. He's like, NDAs aren't a big deal. And then I had to sign an NDA, and he just wouldn't listen. Neither of my parents wouldn't listen about it. And I finally had to send it to both of them and be like, this is the most baby. Suddenly now legal documentation is involved. Now it's like, why didn't you let us know the president was coming? It's just like, for fuck's sake, just fucking insane.
I tried to use this as a joke, never worked well. I linked my calendar up. My mother, one of my Christmas presents this year, I'm like, you always ask me what shows I'm at. She doesn't ask me what shows I do anymore because of this moment. She always asked me what shows I did, so I was like, all right, I'm linking you up on my calendar. And she was like, so happy. And then I would just put in the time. So I would put in like the way I got the gig and then the like company, which she would always think was a bar. Maple Leaf. Be like Maple Leaf Foods. She would a bar, and I was performing for fucking some tech company. And then I look at my mom's in the audience. I'm like, why the fuck are you here, Mom? She's like, it was in your calendar. I thought I'd surprise you. And I'm like, well, this is a corporate comedy show. And what had happened is my mother came into this tech company, said my son was in there. And then they thought it was a fucking 5-year-old, and then it was the bald man they had hired. And then they were like, well, this woman might kill us all, so we'll just let her in. And that's how I was like, well, now I can't tell you where I am, Mom, because that's fucking crazy. Like, these people don't, like, they thought it was funny, but they were like, fucking, yeah, good gig. Sometimes his mom shows up. We're pretty sure she's on the spectrum.
I'm going to tell you this.
What does your son look like? Well, he has glasses.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't mention the beard or the 40-year-old part? She's like, I didn't think I should.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't have let me in, Dylan.
He's that fat guy trying to hide that he's farting in the corner.
Yes.
He keeps on asking if he can have a Keurig and then keeping the pods to use later at home. Ooh, Starbucks dark roast. Pocketed these.
Yeah, these aren't no-name brand Keurig pods. Ooh, Mommy and Daddy will be fully caffeinated.
Take whatever you want, you fucking morons.
I'm going to say that I will...
Bunch of pens. I meant food.
I will say this for my mom, who will show up almost anywhere. She's never showed up at a corporate event. I've really appreciated it.
But I mean, we were in Edinburgh that one time. I sat with her, and she took a picture with
Oh
the
my
flash on.
God.
You're like, Mom, and then your mom said, "You told me I got to take a picture."
No, you always mistell the story. The reason why is she took a flash
Oh yeah.
at the last line of the show, so then everyone didn't laugh at the punchline. They all just looked at her.
Like, what?
And then I said, Mom, you have to stop doing that, because she would do it all the time, and like it would just, I'd be like, Mom, like it really fucks up the
Take
show.
the fucking flash off. There's already lights.
Yeah, just take the flash off, and then it's never happened again. Oh my God, I remember that.
I screamed at her though for you.
You did
You
not.
fucking rich cunt.
You did not.
Stop fucking doing that.
You were having the
John.
best time. You were having such a good time, because Dylan loves nothing more than I have to confront someone and he gets to just stand there.
Secondhand embarrassment. Yeah. Well, it was like being
yeah.
a passenger in what I have to do, because both of our mummies are
They love
probably
us.
trying to will us back on the breast.
Yeah, they love it. Here's the thing. Dylan and I were both raised by single moms, and that just basically means you have a bodyguard you may not have necessarily hired. Did this man hurt you? He's the police officer, and I'm being pulled over for a ticket. Write it faster, officer.
It is like, yeah, it's like a bodyguard who doesn't know karate, but they know making someone feel bad.
Let me say this though.
What did she say to my son? She was like, said something to him. And then I looked at her. She was like, I was trying to guilt him. I'm like, yeah, I remember my childhood, Mom. You're making me cry. I'm going to cry. Like, if I was like, Dylan, put your shoes on. I'm not putting my shoes on. I'm going to start crying. Oh, fuck. Okay, man.
There was no guilt. There was just unnecessarily single mom having to work a job and raise a child rage, which I just didn't always need directed towards moi. You know what I mean? Like, let's just tone it down a little bit. Jesus.
Yeah,
what I'm looking forward
it's also
to.
lady rage, so it's not like a dad where they get it all out. It's like they let a little bit out. It's like you let a little bit out of the balloon and then you stop it.
Yeah, it's simmering and unnecessary. It's fucking fascinating. Here's what I'm looking.
And you know why? That's why our relationships with women, we fucking tell them what to think.
That's right. That's why we're both
Right?
Andrew Tate devotees.
Yeah, exactly. That's my fucking dragons on my shirt are glowing.
Oh, so
now.
are you enjoying that Andrew Tate is having to move around to different states because different states keep finding ways to charge him with assault? And I'm just like, I got to tell you, I know that we shouldn't be enjoying Trump's America, but this is very funny. They're like, well, the federal government's not charging him federally because we're pretty sure he donated to the campaign. So each state is taking it upon themselves. And it's just like, man, who knew we could get Florida and California to agree?
I'm not following Andrew Tate. I find it bad that they don't just arrest him for the crimes he clearly did. And
Well,
that he keeps
Dylan,
on successfully fleeing a country.
That's because
You know what?
That's because only one of us has to manage the rest of Review Twitter. And if you want to get Andrew Tate news, you just log into Twitter.
X.
Yeah, like you're
X.
yeah, doing the X.
You're the fucking Abyss T. I
Yeah.
make a T because I like a timeout.
Yeah. All right.
Intimidating, but timeout.
I
Anyway,
really
here's
enjoyed
the first match. Dog collar match.
Dog
Here's
collar
what I
match.
like about
James
the
Mitchell.
Abyss
James
Raven
Mitchell is
feud.
still there. James Mitchell is
gets-
the longest tenured wrestler of this match. He is doing cocaine on the NWA. It is fucking crazy how
James
long
Mitchell
this
will be
man's
like,
career
one
has been.
time, Me and New Jack fucked a chick.
That is what, if you watch James
And then he's
Mitchell's
like-
shoot interviews, they're like,
Well, it seems like a guy who was near people having fun, so he acts like he was having fun.
no, he seems like he seems like the kind of guy that if
I was in the tub. They didn't know I was still in the room. They had sex. I counted as a three-way.
if you were looking for a seventh, James Mitchell is your guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, he looks like a seventh. He looked
Yeah.
like he would be. Mitchell looks like he has a membership to a sex club, and they keep on having to talk to him about pissing.
It's my king.
Hey, James. It's a public pool, and you say you're into pissing, but you pissed in the pool from about 4 feet away. So we're gonna tear up that
It's
old.
my king.
Yeah, just the girls were
What, you gonna
screaming.
cake shame me for being into 5-year-olds?
Yeah, I was doing my impression of Curry Man. My piss is Curry Man. It matches his trunks, Curry Man.
Here, check it out. I'm James Mitchell. Confront me about something.
Hey, that stain on my trousers is jizz. Some people thought it was boogers.
Me and Big Sal Graziano once had
Oh,
a
we're-
sandwich eating contest.
Shit sandwiches. Little shit. Baby shit.
It just seems like one of those guys where you confront him about something, and then he just says the name of a couple wrestlers and hopes to distract you so that he can get out of Dodge.
There's a Jim Cornette, James Mitchell interview, and you can tell that Jim Cornette does not want James Mitchell to tell all his stories. That's all I'm going to say. Like, you can tell that he's like,
James
"Oh."
Mitchell and Jim Cornette are the same guy, but he doesn't want to be. He's like, no, I have like a thing. I have a thing going on in the wrestling curmudgeon. People don't need to know. that we've both dressed up as each other and fucked.
Yeah. People don't need to know that I
Fuck
have.
me in the ass, you fucking cunt. I'm Father James Mitchell. I can't do an impression of you.
Meet my wife. She agreed to Norman Bates me. I dress up as my mom. I hunt her. We fuck in the shower and cover each other in chocolate syrup so that the drain looks like that from Psycho. He's a heel. So Abyss does the dog collar match. This dog collar match is very fun. There's a real theme in Abyss having matches with no rules. That the guy on the outside only interferes when it is reasonable, and that really took me out of it. This happened with this, and it happened with the Dr. Stevie interference in the mixed tag match.
So we're talking about the dog collar match first, right?
Exactly. James Mitchell does not interfere in this match nearly as much as a match with no rules would indicate.
The dog collar match? I kind of... This is the thing, is that all of wrestling is like this, where the bad guy... where the bad guy should just it's no rules, okay, me and my manager are just going to kick the fucking shit out of you.
I think that's great.
Like, I'm completely evil. Let's let them have a fair fight for a while.
That's why I always enjoyed the casket match against The Undertaker and Yokozuna, that just 8 heels came out and just also attacked The Undertaker. It's like, whoa, that took so many guys to get that guy in that box. And also, like, it's fun to see big beatdowns. It's exciting. They can ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding. They wouldn't ring the bell during a match, but I still enjoy when they do that. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, I didn't know the match was over. But yeah, I found this match to be really, really fun. I can't believe TNA was good. Man, TNA is just NXT. Like everyone's like, it's revolutionary what they've done with NXT. It's like, or WWE got big enough that they were just like, okay, we'll just make our own small promotion. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean... so this match, here we go. First thing, Jeremy Borash, dressed like he slips roofies in women's drinks.
Oh, yeah.
So that they'll have sex with him just so he knows that they've been roofied.
Yeah, it's weird. Jeremy Borash really looks like Vince Russo dressed him up to be Mike Awesome, that 70s guy.
He did the collar on the outside of the shirt. I mean, it does get across the fact that, like, hey, I'm not your fucking father's ring announcer. I dress like him because I want to fuck your mom, though.
Oh, can we also talk about the journey that Don West and Mike Tenay's commentary goes on throughout these 3 matches?
I love Don West. Don West is I love the archetype of not having like the heel announcer, just having another guy, like play-by-play guy knows about wrestling, and then color guy is just a guy who's watching wrestling and who's like, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, and you just hear
but
like
Don
clinking,
West,
you're like, what's happening? Like, pouring myself a drink.
Don West reveals far too much about him. Like, it's literally like, oh my God, it's an arm bar. You know, Daddy used to put me in one of those if I didn't finish my vegetables, so I intentionally didn't finish my vegetables because pain is very close to the pleasure sensations, and as it turns out, I was always predilection towards BDSM. Yeah, I got a trunk in the house that my wife locks me in, and you can buy a version of that trunk for $19.95 for the TNA
Oh my
website.
God, that's a crazy armbar. Father James Mitchell shows me some magazines that aren't on the internet, and I'm glad they aren't, because we'd both be put in the FBI very soon.
Yeah, Father James Mitchell, he was the sinister minister. Speaking of a minister with sinister, actually a Catholic priest on my street. He tried to go on a date with me, but I just went, ha, Episcopalian. In other news, that church was burned down and my dad was not seen for some time. Back to you,
Father
Mike.
James Mitchell.
Mike, you're the professor.
Sorry, it does look like he took a guy out of the insane asylum and then gradually just worked on that man until he was into kink.
I gotta tell you though, nothing says I'm not evil more than a purple suit. Purple suit is not that of an evil man. Red.
It does
black.
seem like he's peacocking.
Yeah, it does seem like
he can pick up some ladies.
Actually, I'm not here to manage Abyss. I'm just giving the referee some poppers he bought from me. That's what it feels like.
That would be dope if like your manager is just a guy finishing off a drug deal and then he goes to the back. I'm done here.
Yeah, that's like so there was a Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young album that was supposed to be recorded called Human Highway, but Steven Stills was so on coke, he just ordered a bunch of coke to the island. It arrived where they were recording this album. He got it and he was like, all right, I got what I came for, and left. Hey, I thought we were going to record this album. The answer is no. The answer is cocaine.
Yeah, I like the Abyss one where he's like in the insane asylum stuff, and like his earlier attire in the blue. I think it was like blue jean or whatever. And I really did block out of my memory how low Raven's jorts were.
Yeah. I mean, Raven does, of all the people in this match, Raven looks the worst. Raven looks like he looks bloated. Like I've never seen a wrestler, and this is saying something, I've never seen a wrestler with this much, like, I don't know what's not digesting in this system, but it's definitely beef.
Oh yeah, Raven, for this time Raven's old, and then doing the math, I'm like, this was 20 years ago. How old does Raven look now?
Raven looks all right now, in that way that, like, he doesn't look as worse from this as you would expect, so it's an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like both of these guys run pyramid schemes. It's just James Mitchell won, and that makes Raven the bad guy for some reason.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Abyss's pyramid scheme. Yeah, Abyss seems like he operated the Silk Road, while Raven looks like he operates the Dark Net. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Raven uses a staple gun at one point. And this really struck me that, like, I remember listening to all these shoot interviews with Raven and talking about how his character, he wanted to be that he wasn't really a hardcore wrestler, but then he was kind of like, I would say probably the best hardcore wrestler that basically he was the first one who had a character get really popular, so he transferred from ECW to one of the major promotions, so his gimmick, rightfully so, became the Raven's Rules thing where anything goes.
Absolutely, and that also worked for Raven's character of he was like, WCW doesn't get acknowledged for some of the things they did right, and WCW Raven was fucking awesome. WCW Raven was the second tier storyline of that company after NWO WCW, and Raven Rules made all the sense in the world because he's a spoiled asshole.
Yeah, well, that I think that kind of neutered his character. Was like, turns out he's rich.
Yeah, but that was from his character from the beginning. That was part of the ECW thing. Mm-hmm. Is Tommy Dreamer and him met at camp, and Raven was the outcast kid, and Tommy Dreamer was cool, and then Tommy Dreamer made fun of him and the fat girl, and the fat girl was Beulah McGillicuddy, which is just hell yeah, Paul Heyman. And then it was revealed early in the feud that the reason why Tommy Dreamer was making fun of Raven was he was the rich kid, and it's Philadelphia, so they were all like, oh, so it was okay. Get him, Tom. Like, it's just like...
And she was fat? That's two okays.
Yeah, this is fucking one more and you're out. Where? Out to my house to fucking make out with me. Wait, what? Philadelphia's weird, man.
It is interesting how, like, hardcore wrestling was really just a way for these guys to have bodies like dudes in the 70s, but instead of walking around like we watched in the Sergeant Slaughter match, kind of doing double axe handles to each other, they stab each other, so it makes it more... You know what I mean? Raven has pretty much the same body as Slaughter does. It's just like when he's walking around not doing like a forearm to the back, it's just like he's got a dull knife and he is working it into the side of Abyss's neck.
It's a really interesting match in that there's not really any rest holds, but there are a lot of one wrestler is prone on the ropes on one side of the ring and the other guy walks very slowly to get him.
They used the dog collar really well. At one point,
they used the dog collar
Raven,
exceptionally.
Yeah, the splash off of the ramp, and then Abyss pulls him off of the ramp. Like, basically, he's just standing up there tired, and Abyss pulls him off the ramp. At the start of the match, Raven does a spot where he's throwing chairs at Abyss, and then pulls him into the ring post that Abyss had previously set up a chair there, and
that was the best,
little stuff. Like, it's just little stuff.
Best spot of the match was that
he rips the shirt. Abyss does. He rips the shirt off Raven so that the tacks will go farther in. Which, I mean, I'm surprised that isn't always in these matches. So it's like it's a well put together match, and as always with TNA. TNA always worked on the thing that WWE in like the 2000s did, where it would be like, oh, the match is really good. Complete nonsense leading up to it. So you have to just watch the match as if it's one thing and then walk away.
That's the interesting thing about this match is all of the matches have been incredibly fun, and then you read into the backstory and you're like, holy fucking hell, this is convoluted.
Hell yeah. That's what I love it. Raven wins the match with a even flow DDT onto the tacks.
Which is shocking. Based off of literally 30 seconds before, Abyss is hitting him with everything, and it looks like Abyss is going to win, but they were like, no.
Well, Raven, this is the thing about these things. It's like Raven is the
champ.
2005.
He's the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah. Is it the ECW Revival yet?
No. That's the ECW Revival is happening
2006 next year. But it's like ECW Nostalgia comes out because there's like the ECW DVDs
No, but
come out.
no. ECW One Night Stand is happening this year, and then I think ECW Two Night Stand happens the next year. I think it's 2005, 2006. So the ECW One Night Stand has just happened. I think it happens in June of 2005.
Rise and Fall of ECW.
That's the DVD. That's the DVD, you fucker.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is Rise and Fall of ECW is the DVD that sells so well that they basically Vince McMahon has to then make a.
This is absolutely in this time because I watched that thing in fucking college a lot. Yeah, ECW One Night Stand is June 12th, 2005. It had happened 1 month before this match. Apologize to me, Dylan.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly it. Then that's why Raven has this. Because they're like, we got the fucking one of the guys who was one of the best ones.
And Raven, by the way, was lacking from that ECW reunion show. The idea that because at the last minute, WWE and TNA would not agree to New Jack, Raven, and someone else, and you're like, yeah, they were missed. Although I could see Vince McMahon being like, if I get New Jack near me, I'm going to hire him, and if we do that, I'm going to get sued.
But I mean, it does make sense for that ECW reunion that there's so many iterations of ECW. You can pretty much and they had like, and at the time, I for sure felt that. But I mean, as long as you have Tommy Dreamer, to me, it's ECW. Every single other person.
Sandman. I need Sandman.
And Sandman was there, right? So
yep.
You have the One Night Stand
and the
entrance.
Dudleys, Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I also need Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger was integral.
Yeah, I needed fucking, where's Chili Willy?
Where's Kevin Thorne?
Where's Kevin Thorne? Another guy who is had a vamp kink. But anyway, Raven wins match number 1. Now, John, we're going to take a break while we do a pre-recorded message about rating, review, and subscribe while rating. I'm going to piss.
Leave it in.
We're back from the break. John,
so
explain to me. Explain
Stevie storyline. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Oh, Dr. Stevie. I mean, yeah, this is the same asylum. Dr. Stevie was his fucking shrink, and then he wants to beat him up, and he calls Raven because Raven was his old guy in ECW, and Mick Foley teams up with Abyss because he's kind of like Mankind, and then it's
very interesting that they would be like, hey, so this is 4 years later now. We're in 2009.
Okay.
Feeling fine.
Big giant.
And it just doesn't make any sense why they would go. There's so many Raven Abyss matches at this point already that I'm just like, this has already gone to the well. I don't like I hate Mick Foley TNA. He's like, just please get out of the ring, buddy.
He's walking around like me. It's crazy.
Get the fuck out of the ring, bud. Like, all right, we're done. Come on.
One point in this match where he does his elbow, but it's off the stage onto a table, but the table just kicks out, so he just smacks his face off the concrete.
The entire fucking match is just literally like have Mick Foley and his wife divorced? That's there was a rumor going around, but then she's listed as
wife.
I don't
know because she also he's definitely a guy who just complains about how much money she spends, but also he famously would never spend any money. I'll see fucking Mick Foley at a Too Good to Go. I'll tell you that.
Dylan watched Mick Foley negotiate how many egg salad sandwiches he would buy versus the sketchy thief who was promoting those shows weirdly would buy.
Yeah, I'm open for Mick Foley, and then Mick Foley, I got a bagel and a coffee at a Tim Hortons, and he covered it, and he's like, I always like to buy one meal. And then me and the guy looked at each other, we're like, you're a millionaire, and we're broke stand-up comedians, and you're like, bagel? That's a meal. I don't want to ban you here, but that's not a meal.
I'm totally fine that he didn't buy meals for the other guy. I'm happy about that.
He did.
I'm not that makes me sad.
It was at an East Side Mario's, and we got and it was so funny because he came out, a guy recognized him, and the manager was like, oh my god, that's fucking Mick Foley. And you know how it's a chain restaurant, so he was trying to treat it like it was like his establishment, but he was the manager at an East Side Mario's, so he's like, I'll give you the chef's table, and we were like, that's fine. What the chef? You're the closest to the microwave.
Yeah, you'll be able to see them unbagging the wedding soup.
You'll be so close to when we breathe on the bread hard and it becomes solid.
Yeah, you'll be amazed to see how quickly the bread goes from fresh to oxidized as it is already stale bread.
So this is Foley's Funhouse match. What is a Foley's Funhouse match, John?
I have no rules, I think. I couldn't really determine it from one.
That's it. He goes, it's a Foley's Funhouse match. And then I figured, watching it, I was like, this is an established thing. Nope, made it up on the way in. Here's
what I think happened, which was that Mick Foley was like, this is no DQ, right? And they were like, no, it's just a regular tag match. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. I can't move. So if there isn't stuff to hit me with, we can't do this match. And they were like, Foley's Funhouse rules it is.
Yeah, and it's also, Abyss move. He's like, Foley in this match is the Iron Sheik with hardcore stuff. It's like they just stab Abyss a bunch and Abyss gets hit, and then
it's a really interesting match. And I spent the entire time just looking at Mick Foley being like, hey, you want to go, buddy? Maybe we got to go. I also should not have watched the Dark Side of the Ring and then immediately started in on the matches for this episode, because it was literally just like, they literally have every single one of his kids being like, well, whenever I watch the tape, I just know that's how my dad won't remember my birthday one day. And then Mick Foley is like, ha, ha, gotta give the crowd what they want. And no employee of the WWE is there. The Undertaker is not interviewed because the Undertaker is like, yeah, I'm saving my stories for Mick's funeral. Yeah, this
the
is
Undertaker's
like,
well, the thing about the Hell in a Cell is he's a lib.
Yeah, that was real.
I would love if the Undertaker came out of character, but he was like, "No, wrestling's real."
Are you across the fact that Ari Shaffir is going on podcasts now and claiming like things that he famously did were just pranks and didn't actually do them? That I feel is I want the Undertaker to start doing that, where he just, after these 2 years of podcasts, starts keeping kayfabe again. No, I killed him. I actually went to hell.
Drop the character, but maintain kayfabe. Check it. Is Paul Bearer alive now? No, he's dead.
Yeah, Paul Bearer is dead. He died he had concrete in his lungs. I killed him with the Dudleys. I did that.
Okay, Glenn's the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, yeah. But check his pants. He has no dick.
Yeah, I burned his dick off. That's why they like him there, because
off.
He's the first mayor of Knoxville that they know isn't going to try and show his Peter to people at the bus stop, because he doesn't have one. I burned it off.
I love that. That was a good one. Yeah.
We're lucky the lamestream media hasn't picked up on the fact that I murdered my parents, or Vince would have to answer for that as well.
There's some Attitude Era thing, like
he murdered them after he fucked his dad.
I mean, well, like how I don't understand is when Kane is like, I'm all about family values. No one is like, you made millions of dollars pretending that someone fucked your dead girlfriend. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's an interesting thing to be like, family values, Christian values. Here, my character is that I had no dick, but I still ate a bunch of pussy.
When this all gets really bad, by the way, I am looking forward to the apology from Kane and The Undertaker for having Trump on this podcast. I look forward to that apology, because I know it's coming. I know there'll be an apology.
There will never be an apology. Those guys don't apologize.
That was the bit, Dylan.
Did you know this, John? Did you know that Mr. Sacco was in this match, but they can't legally say Mr. Sacco, and then Taz fucks up and says Mr. Sacco, and then Tenay says 5 times. He's got that sock he uses.
Yes, it's a very interesting. I have to tell you, nothing says we don't have chemistry more than Taz and Mike Tenay. Like, it is literally 2 guys watching 2 different things that they've somehow melded the broadcasts. Like
it's not Mr. Sacco, it's Dr. Footsleeve. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's not Mr. Sacco, that's Dr. Cotton Friend.
And it is crazy to have Raven in 2009. God bless them. But this is EV 2.0 era, remember? Where they were like, hey, you know what's cool? 4 years ago, ECW reunion. Let's do that. I can't wait. TNA. I haven't watched much TNA, but I feel like TNA now, what was really fun? TNA now will just start masking. That's what they're going to do. Just stuff from 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah. You're not watching TNA? TNA has just introduced this new character that really thinks that Bernie is going to win the 2020 election. He's got another chance.
Hey.
I have to tell you, you're absolutely right. TNA is the most fascinating thing. It's the opposite of ECW, which is ECW watched for everything that wasn't what was happening in the ring. TNA is like, the matches are fun. Everything else is a chore. Literally everything else will give you an ice cream headache, but it's fun when they get between the ropes. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, you can say a lot about AEW, but Tony Khan's spending his father's money is a better product than when Dixie Carter spent her father's money.
Yeah. And some Jarrett Gold money that they acquired. Let's not forget about that.
I just want to know how the Jarretts are amazing. Just like the ultimate fucking. And then, what was it? The end of the dog collar match, Jeff Jarrett comes out. Great.
Yeah, I forgot completely about Jeff Jarrett coming out.
Of course.
What?
Jeff Jarrett inserted himself in absolutely every single thing that happened. It was like Jeff Jarrett's music would happen when they booked an arena. I'd be like, I'm here too.
My world, my world.
Is there like another? What's the equivalent of Jeff Jarrett? He was for sure shady Triple H. Just a guy who's like, this guy has to be here now. No one really likes.
He's Roman Reigns. He
was Roman Reigns.
He's 2010's Roman Reigns. He was, and
with
it's
no
just,
star quality.
With no, I mean, Roman Reigns did not have star quality for up until it was the pandemic. Before I was like, whoa, Roman Reigns is fun to watch.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that was when I was like, Vince, no one's gonna cheer, so they can't boo me or something. And then Vince was like, okay, let's turn him heel. Good for Vince for finally going into Tribal Chief. Now the final match, John, Hangman's Horror. Well, I mean, I'm gonna talk about Hangman's Horror. Here's what Hangman's Horror is.
I'll talk about the mixed tag.
It's pretty much you lock the guy in a dog collar, and then I think you win the match based on that. But the end of the match is Abyss hangs Raven and simulates that he murdered him.
So we get an Abyss victory over Raven. We get 2 Abyss victories over Raven in this segment of the program.
Victories over Raven.
Because my match was, what the fuck is her name?
Your match was a mixed tag. You sent me it on Messenger, but then I did not have time to watch it.
I can't remember her name. It's Daphne and Raven versus Taylor Wilde and Abyss. Taylor Wilde and Abyss have no chemistry as partners. I don't think they've ever met before. They do not seem to know that they're in a match together. And this is basically what happens is you watch 2 men have a brawl, and you watch Daphne give herself CTE.
I hope that this part is
Ladies and gentlemen, this entire match is literally, the internet cut out, but I'm going to keep talking, is Abyss and Raven have a fight, and then Taylor Wilde stands there while Daphne gives herself a variety of concussions.
Yeah, Daphne's unfortunately unalived herself, and you can really see why. When you fucking run head first into a chair and give yourself concussions for
when she gets
pro wrestling.
When she takes an unprotected chair shot to the face and then is thrown over the guardrail, and you literally see her smoke her head on the ring step and then just lie there, and then they just cut to Raven and Abyss, and I then was like, I guess this is the last match Daphne ever does, and then she later dies. And then I looked up and they were like, no, she wrestled for another 5 years and then killed herself because of the horrific head injuries. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's the only time where you can pinpoint where the CTE comes from. Like, I've never been able to be like, yep, that'll do it. That's the one. There it is. You know what I mean? Like, usually it's developed over time. Like, you know what I mean? It was like watching them make a mine in a day. You're just like, oh my God, it's so destructive.
I mean, here's what I like about this match that I never saw. Daphne bumping up a storm because they hired a guy who's fucking full midlife. What does Raven changes to his character? Does he change the character over 20 years?
No.
Absolutely not. At least in the Hangman's Horror match, he has blonde hair and a leather skirt. These guys all seem like they're fighting over who gets to have sex with the 60-year-old woman in the weird sex club at 2 a.m.
The match is over who gets to be the manager of the Hot Topic and finally have firing power and keys. He's a key holder.
Raven wants keys to the Hot Topic so he could fucking fire his stepdaughter.
This is a very specific reference that you may not get, which is when people used to still get like malls at jobs at malls when they were teenagers.
Okay.
One of the big cool roles was to be a key holder.
Yes.
And I remember there was an outdoor equipment store in Ottawa called Bushtuka, and a friend of mine was like, I'm a key holder at Bushtuka. And then another friend of mine went, I just don't have to get a job. and I've never seen someone who thought he was the coolest just deflated completely. Just, fuck. It was so good. Just like, yeah, fuck you, poor guy. We're rich kids. That's what
Oh, yeah. My mom just gives...
Yeah. Have fun at the fucking outdoor equipment store. We're going to be finding dead birds to throw at you.
Oh, look, a fucking dead bird. I'm going to fuck it. I have no job.
Yeah, I don't need a job. I fuck dead birds.
There you go. I don't know how that happened.
Abyss and Raven fight 50-50 for no reason, which is literally, this is how this match works. It cuts to Taylor Wilde and Daphne. They're doing something where you're literally like, they've got 1 million razor blades. Taylor Wilde's got a bag, says AIDS blood. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
but first,
man.
back to Abyss and Raven.
They got tax. Abyss and
And
John
then
Moxley would have got along great.
But it's very funny is then Abyss and Raven are just like, they're just punching each other in the crowd. And then you go back to Taylor Wilde and Daphne and like, oh my God, Daphne's got some she's got some treated uranium and she's making Taylor lick it. Taylor's licked the treated uranium. Back to Abyss and Raven. They're reading Catcher in the Rye. They're both reading Catcher in the Rye. They're having chamomile tea. They're sat down.
What's the most damaging thing you can do? Oh my God, Taylor Wilde cyberbullying Daphne.
Yes, Tyler Wilde has doxed Daphne's entire family. Her grandmother does not understand that these phone calls are not coming from helpful young men who want to help her take out money.
Yeah, they're just in the middle of the ring on fucking laptops.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh my God, they've logged into Tor. I think Daphne is about to buy some drugs under Taylor Wilde's name. Oh my God.
Oh no, there comes Ice. They know Taylor Wilde's Canadian.
Oh my God, Daphne's called ice on Taylor Wilde. Taylor Wilde's refusing to show her papers. They've punched Taylor Wilde. That's technically not interference because it's a Monsters Ball match.
Monsters Ball match. I mean, that was the thing. It's like Abyss had his signature match, the Monsters Ball match, and then he has all these other matches like the Hangman's Horror match where they do the Tommy Dreamer versus Raven spot where there's the double dog collar. Abyss is tied up and then they do a chair shot. But then I think one of the not the weirder things, one of the pet peeves I have of just about these matches where Raven clearly looks at Abyss trying to get himself out of the dog collar and then just stares at James Mitchell who's winded. So they just kind of stare at each other and then Abyss attacks him from behind. And that's how he gains the advantage that ends up leading to the victory. But it is still, once again, pretty gallant of James Mitchell to be like,
I'm the most evil man in the world. I have a bunch of spells and I love Satan, but I'm going to let them fight fairly until Abyss is about to lose. Then I'll intervene.
I am a walker on the left side of the road. The Nazarene screams bloody murder when I come in the room, and I will respect the regulations of a total nonstop action wrestling referee.
watching these matches it really does drive home the point of how fucking crazy it was that Hulk Hogan was like, we're going to go to four sides because we want this to be less unique.
Yeah, like we
got to do
need
Hogan
stand
TNA.
out. Oh, no, don't worry. I already have a
Match
plan
by
for
match.
that.
Not even appearance by appearance. We need to do a chronology of Hogan TNA.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Restarted
the
the
wrestler review.
podcast, and now let's end it immediately.
Yeah, all right. The Harlem Heat 2000 version of the wrestler reviews. Year
Oh,
of
yeah.
McMahon.
We watch every single Harlem Heat appearance. Harlem Heat 2000 appearance, too. That's good.
Oh, we're
I
definitely
just want to
doing
watch
that. Was
Big
already
T
on the list.
and WCW in its entirety.
Big
like
T is
it's The
so good.
Sopranos.
It's also, you would be shocked how litigious that feud gets. Because it's based it's all about who owns the rights to the
I know.
Harlem Heat name. It's so embarrassing. I would love to do Hulk Hogan in TNA segment by segment. We can do, but we're doing it truncated. We're going to do it over the course of years. We're doing it every once in a while. We'll just watch 3 Hogan segments. But I'm not doing it in a row. Fuck you. That's a nightmare.
No, not in a row. No. We'll just watch the episode of Hogan Knows Best where they're watching porn in the gym.
That's so many of those episodes. You also are aware that Linda Hogan is now out and about claiming that Hulk Hogan's a bad guy. And let me just say this. Everyone can be a villain in this, but Linda, you don't get to be a hero. You don't get to be like, I'm dating one of my daughter's friends, and then be like, my daughter doesn't talk to me. And it's like, I mean, everything I'll blame on Hulk Hogan except this.
Well, also, it's like, Hulk Hogan's a bad guy. Yeah, he said the N-word on tape. So, anyway, that is the end of this episode. And later on, this is a note for
No, it's not,
myself to
Dylan.
add in. Yeah, well, no, yeah, my
Dylan,
son's up.
It's not over. I challenge you now to a hangman's hangnail match.
Ooh.
We each have to get a hangnail and then tie dog collars around ourselves and then around a tree, and we have to kiss.
Ooh, I challenge you to soggy cracker on a pole match. We're on a pole. We each have the nut on the cracker. Everyone wins.
Yeah, there's not a match. We do it at my house and your house, and we videotape it. And I love you.
Yeah.